Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the show for leaders who want real results, not more noise. Join Emanuel Rose as he helps business builders turn AI from a confusing add-on into a practical advantage with clearer messaging, stronger trust, and smarter systems. If you felt a shift happening in real time, you're not imagining it. In the agentic pivot, Emanuel calls it the move from experimenting with AI to building with it, so it supports your team, your brand, and your growth. Let's get into it.
%38%. That's how many job seekers have quit a hiring process the moment they figured out a machine was judging them. Not because the machine was slow, but because no human was looking. Think about that. You built a faster funnel, and more than a third of your best people walked out the back door. That is the high-tech, high-touch problem. And this week, we're going to look to fix it. Human in the loop. Wow. I have made some hiring decisions over the years, and I've had to dig into people sometimes, even though that their resume was not a match, but they came off much better in person and were thinkers and could think on their feet. And if I hadn't have had that meeting or had that time with them and had the team have the time with them, we would have just immediately filtered them out. Welcome back to Marketing in the Age of AI. I'm Emanuel Rose. This is a special topics episode, and today the topic is high-tech, high-touch HR, the art of using AI to hire and support people without making them feel like cattle. Here's why it matters right now. 67% of companies are using AI in recruiting, and 46% of organizations expect to use AI somewhere in HR this year. The tools are everywhere, but the candidates are pushing back. The regulators are circling, and the research says that slowing down is not the thing that's slowing you down is not the technology. It's you and your process. Here's where we're going today. 1, the news, including a workday move that tells you exactly where the pressure is. 2, my hot take on what's actually broken. And 3, the companies winning and the ones that are exposed. 4, the money, the case studies, and a tool I want you to test, and a playbook you can run this week. Let's get to work. Here's news and developments. Start with the big report. SHRM published its State of AI in HR for 2026, and the headline is a relief. We've moved from hype to measured impact. 67% of companies now use AI in recruiting. The tools are standard now, just like email. But read the fine print. SHRM says the thing slowing AI down in HR is not the software, it's skills gaps, weak governance, and confusion over who actually owns the rollout. The machine is ready, the org chart is not, and the change management has not been implemented. Now, the number that should stop you cold, 38% of U.S. job seekers have withdrawn from a hiring process once AI evaluation entered the picture. SHRM ties it to 2 things. People can't see what the AI is measuring, and they can't see a human reviewing it. It gets sharper. A separate 2026 candidate study from Enhance CV found that 31% abandoned an application specifically because of a one-way AI video or chatbot screen. Worse, people told about AI only in the fine print trust the process less than people who were never told at all. Sit with that. A half-truth about your AI does more damage than silence. Honesty is not a compliance checkbox. It's a conversion lever. On June 2nd, Workday shipped something telling. They launched a set of tools called Agent Passport. It tests and verifies every AI agent before it touches your HR and finance data, and it keeps watching after. Each check is tied to a public safety standard. Here's the operator read. When the biggest HR platform on earth turns proof this agent is safe before it sees employee data into a product, that tells you where the anxiety lives. It lives in trust. This story is a quiet trap. As of February 19, of the most populous states that have laws on the books covering AI and employment, SHRM found that 57% of HR professionals working in those states didn't know the rules existed. So more than half of HR is running AI in hiring while unaware of the law in their own state. That's not a technology gap, that's a leadership gap, and it's the kind of thing that ends up in a deposition. The next story sets up my hot take. In late May, the Register reported that AI hiring algorithms reject Black and Asian job seekers at higher rates. That lines up with the UW research showing something worse. When the AI showed racial bias, the human reviewers copied it. Same people, given neutral AI or no AI, made fair calls. Hand them a biased machine, and they followed it. Hold that thought. The hot take of the week. Here's my hot take, and it's going to annoy some vendors. The high-tech part of HR is basically solved. The high-touch part is now the entire game. We keep selling AI hiring as a speed story. Faster screens, faster shortlists, faster offers. But speed is not the constraint anymore. Trust is. 38% of candidates are walking away. A clumsy half disclosure makes it worse, not better. You cannot out-automate a trust problem. You can only out-human it. And here's the second half, because it cuts the other way too. Everybody says just keep a human in the loop. That's the phrase that has become a security blanket. But the University of Washington work shows a human in the loop who simply nods along, copies the machine's bias. That's not oversight, that's laundering. A reviewer who can't see the reasoning can't override it and isn't accountable for the override if it's decoration. It's not a safeguard. So here's the line I want you to remember. High tech gets you the short list. High touch gets you the hire. And if your human can't overrule the machine, you don't have a human in the loop, you have a mascot. Here's some key companies and tools. So who's winning and who's exposed? Let's name names. Workday is winning by buying. They acquired Paradox, the conversational hiring tool that runs about 1 in 10 interviews in the US. They acquired HireScore for matching. They acquired Sana for an AI front door. Now they've wrapped agent verification around all of it. That is a company assembling an end-to-end suite while everyone else sells one piece. Paradox itself is the standout in high-volume frontline hiring. Conversational, fast, candidate-friendly. It is now inside Workday, which is great for Workday customers and a question mark for everyone who bought it standalone. Eightfold AI is strong on skills intelligence and internal mobility, real capability, but here's the exposure. When a platform like Workday bundles similar matching into the suite you already pay for, the standalone has to keep proving why it's worth a separate check. HireVue is the most interesting case. It's the engine behind some of the best documentary results in the space. It's also the public face of the one-way video interview, which is exactly the format candidates are revolting against. Same technology that saves the hours also triggers the trust backlash. That's the high-tech, high-touch tension in one company. The challenger I actually want you to touch this week, Juicebox, also called People GPT. It replaces Boolean search strings with plain language across more than 800 million profiles. It has a free tier, A solo recruiter or a small team can run a real search today. More on that in a few minutes. The pattern: incumbents are bundling, challengers are getting bought or getting niched. Your job is not to marry a tool, it's to stay with the one that owns the process. Let's follow the money because it confirms the story. First, a correction I want to make out loud because honesty is the brand. Two giant HR rounds circulated this cycle, Rippling at 465 million and Awardco at 165 million. I checked the dates. Both of them closed May 2025, not this year. I'm not gonna sell them to you as fresh news. They're a year old. Here's what's actually recent. In May, a UK company called Ethos raised $22 million in Series A, led by Andreessen Horowitz. Ethos maps a person's comparative advantage and matches them to paid work, from expert calls to fractional roles to full-time jobs. The signal: money is moving into the skills and matching layer, not just the applicant tracking box. Also in May, Remote Pass raised $17 million in Series B, led by EBRD Venture Cap. They run global payroll and hiring, merging employment plumbing with fintech. The signal: the infrastructure layer of global employment is consolidating as fast as the AI layer. Now zoom out. Workday completed the Paradox deal on October 1st and the Sana deal worth around $1 billion on November 4th. Then reinforced both with the new agent tooling on June 2nd. Crunchbase reports HR software funding is rising while M&A heats up. Read that together and you get one word: consolidation. So here's the money lesson for you. We are in a buy or be bought phase in HR tech. If you bet on a standalone tool, you're also betting it won't get acquired and get repriced under you. Protect yourself. Own your candidate data. Keep an export path. Stay tool agnostic. Case studies worth knowing. Let me give you proof this works when human stays in charge. Case one: IBM and its internal agent, Ask HR. In 2024, it handled more than 11 million HR interactions. 94% of them were resolved by the agent, so only 6% needed a human HR partner. It runs around 80 automated tasks, from payslip to vacation requests. IBM credits the system with a 40% in HR operational costs over 4 years and a 75% drop in support tickets since 2016. But here's the people part. IBM didn't fire its way to that number. It runs two tiers. The AI takes the routine questions. The humans take the hard 6%. They move their people up to the work that needs a human instead of out the door. That's the high-tech, high-touch, done correctly. Case two: Unilever. They paired pre-screening with on-demand video interviews. The documented results: more than 50,000 hours of interview time saved, roughly £1 million a year, a 96% candidate completion rate, time to hire down about 90%, and diversity of hires up 16%. I want you to notice that last pair: faster and more diverse at the same time. That only held because a human still made the final call on the people the machine surfaced. The AI widened the top of the funnel. The humans closed it. Before we close, here's a workflow you could stand up this week, calling it the 80-20 hiring loop, and it comes straight from the operator playbook. Oh. The rule is simple. AI does about 80% of the tactical execution. Humans own 100% of the decision, not 80, all of them. Here are the steps. 1, let the AI draft job posts, source candidates, and rank a shortlist. That's the 80%. Speed still lives here. 2, name a human reviewer for every consequential call. Shortlisting, who gets interviewed, who gets the offer, a name, not a committee. 3, make sure the reviewer can do 4 things. See what the AI did, correct it, override the outcome with a written reason, and pause the automation when something feels off. 4, disclose the AI to candidates plainly, upfront, not in the fine print. Remember the data. Half disclosure costs you more than honesty. 5, export the full evidence trail without calling your vendor. If you can't export it, you don't own it. Here's the test for whether you actually have oversight. Can your human override the machine and explain why on record? If yes, you're high touch. If no, you've just got an expensive screensaver. So here's the one line to carry out of here. High tech gets you the short list. High touch gets you the hire. The companies winning in HR right now are the ones with the most AI, are not the ones with the most AI. They're the ones who use the AI to free up their people for the moments that need a person. Speed at the top, judgment at the close, honesty all the way through. If your business is figuring out where the agents go and where the humans stay, that's exactly why I wrote about it in my book, The Agentic Pivot. It's a practical guide for owners and operators deciding which work to hand to AI agents and which work to keep human. You can find it at agenticpivot.com. AIagenticpivot.com. One favor, tell me where you draw the line between the machine and human in your hiring on LinkedIn and tag me. The sharpest answer becomes next week's listener question. I'm Emanuel Rose. Use the tech, keep the touch, and I will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your